I'm Tiffany from BraveSelfStarter.com, your place to grow your career, finances, and lifestyle. And today, I'm going to share a few tips that I took away from buying a house for the first time during COVID. So if you're thinking about buying a house now or in the future, I'm going to be sharing my experience of buying my first home during the pandemic. So let's get started. Homeownership was one of my dreams ever since I could remember. I have always wanted to own my own home. I almost bought a townhouse a few years ago. I actually started the process, but ultimately decided to pull back due to a few issues discovered during the home inspection. But when my fiance and I decided that we wanted to buy our home, we were definitely thinking 2020. However, we did not know that a pandemic would hit. The coronavirus completely derailed most of our plans for 2020, and I'm sure most people can relate. We had to put our wedding planning on hold, we had to pull our daughter from school, and also transitioned to a work from home environment. I also survived a round of layoffs at my job, and my fiance took a small salary cut because of the pandemic. This seriously made us reconsider the decision to buy a home in 2020. We took some time to think about it, assess our financial situation, and ultimately we decided to move forward with our home ownership plans. But let me tell you, the process of buying a home is a long, sometimes stressful process which is very involved with so many moving parts. Buying a home for the first time during COVID definitely compounded the home ownership process, stress and anxiety levels 100 times over. But I learned a lot of key strategies that hopefully you can find useful, whether you're thinking about buying a home soon or you have plans to buy a home in the future. First tip is you definitely want to assess your financial situation. Number one is to evaluate your financial standing. How do your finances look right now with everything happening with the pandemic? More than 2 million people have lost their jobs as a result of the pandemic. Many have been furloughed or have experienced a decrease in their income. Although we still have our jobs, we still had to look at our financial situation to see if it would be a good move to buy a house this year. Also, given everything that's happening this year, you never know what could happen and how things could unfold next year. Job security is definitely a concern for many, which is why it's important to assess your finances. After looking at your financial situation, decide if you can afford to buy your new house based on the situation. Based on our aggressive savings plan and our current financial situation, we decided we were in a good financial position to start the home buying process. The next thing you want to do, you want to know what's happening in the market. Take a look at the housing market to see what is happening in the market right now. Make sure to drill down on the housing trends and market conditions in the area you want to buy. One thing I noticed is how volatile the housing market can be. Many factors affect market conditions, including the number of houses being listed for sale and demand for housing in each area. Going into the house hunting process, I didn't think it would be so competitive. I actually thought due to COVID and the high unemployment rate, people would shy away from buying homes. But it turned out to be the opposite. There is an intense demand for houses right now, making it a seller's market. There is also a shortage of homes available for sale because of the demand. This meant we had to be very quick. As soon as a new listing hit the market that fit our criteria, we had to try and schedule an appointment to see it immediately. Sometimes we couldn't even see the home because the seller already got more than one offer as soon as it was listed. One seller had only one open house and got more than 14 offers in one day. That's how competitive it was. This made it extremely competitive and more costly. Buyers pretty much had to make offers at or above the asking price, and there wasn't as much room for negotiation or you would be outbid. Other trends I noticed caused by the pandemic was that many people could now work from home and didn't need to live in city areas. So they left city life and moved to more suburban areas. Coupled with record low interest rates on mortgages, this caused the housing market to be very competitive. So once you decide you are ready to buy your home, take a look at the market in your area to identify trends and develop a strategy for the house hunting process. The next thing that really stood out to me during the process was the record low interest rates. Of course, before you start house hunting, you need to decide your financing options. If you aren't paying cash, which most of us aren't, you're going to need to find a trustworthy lender offering a good interest rate. Since the pandemic, there have been record low interest rates. The average for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage dropped to 2.80%. This was another reason the housing market was so competitive, as home buyers look to take advantage of these record low interest rates. Remember, the interest you have to pay back on your home loan represents a sizable part of the home ownership cost. The lower your interest rate, the less you pay back over the life of your mortgage. So make sure to shop around to find lenders with the best rates. Check out the link below for lenders offering competitive rates if you are in the process of buying your home. The next thing you want to do is definitely understand the cost of homeownership. Homeownership was a dream of mine, but it comes with a higher than expected price tag. As a first-time home buyer, I didn't know all the costs associated with buying a home. It's not just the down payment. There is a truckload of other expenses that come with the home buying process, including closing costs. Closing costs are the fees paid at the end of the real estate transaction. They include lending, see what I mean? Closing costs can easily add an extra $10,000 to your upfront cost of home ownership. This also includes a down payment that you have to pay, so that's another $10,000. Many of these fees are non-negotiable, but there are some that you can negotiate or shop around. The lender fee can be negotiated with the lender, and you can also shop around for your title insurance. Like I said, I honestly didn't even know all of these fees existed, and I didn't know they were rolled into the closing costs. But it's something you should be very aware of to help with planning the initial outlay of cash that is needed to buy your home. If you want to see an example breakout of some of the actual closing costs that go into the home buying process, check the link below in the description. Of course, there are many other factors to consider when buying your home, but I wanted to focus on some of the things that really stood out to me when going through the home buying process during a pandemic. Buying a home is a big decision, and the process can be very stressful, but I hope you found some of these tips and information useful. There's nothing wrong with renting, but if you want to own a home, I truly believe it's something you can achieve with careful financial planning. Check out my financial planning checklist for success in the link below. And if you're interested in more career, money, and lifestyle tips, please go ahead and hit subscribe